Hi, we are Team Maud, and we will be discussing what we have found throughout our research regarding the depot and our suggestions and findings. First, we're going to give a brief overview of the history of the depot and what it entails. The Norman Santa Fe Depot was built in 1909 and is located in the heart of Norman's historic downtown along the Legacy Trail. The venue is perfect for weddings, parties, receptions, and other events that are available to the community for rental. In the fall of 2003, Norman's historic Santa Fe Depot became the home of the depot, which was previously known as the Performing Arts Studio. It was founded by Nancy McClellan and is currently run by the executive director, Sherry Jackson. The depot is a nonprofit organization with the mission to create and present excellence and innovative fine arts programs for the enrichment and education of the community. It serves the community of Norman not only as a train station, but now also producing Summer Breeze concerts, Winter Wind concerts, jazz concerts, gallery exhibitions in the depot, second Sunday poetry readings, and it serves as the venue for several art and writing classes for adults. 2 research questions: what do the internal publics believe the brand image of the depot is, and what do external publics believe the brand image of the depot is? From there, we developed a hypothesis, which is internal publics think the depot represents its mission statement and are aware of their programs, and external publics think the depot represents its mission statement and is not aware of their other programs. For the findings section, we are going to open up with the behavioral questions that we asked during the survey. From there, we found that more than 34 participants said that they visit restaurants and stores when attending an event, and more than 40% of participants said that they tell their family and friends about events that they attend. Therefore, this is a great potential public exposure for the depot. If those 40% of people knew what the depot was and the various programs offered, that is more people that would be getting into the depot stores. However, more than 78% of participants said that they have not visited the depot or gone to a Summer Breeze concert at Lions Park, which is why we had to find the disconnect. It is crucial that the depot is consistent among all social media platforms. We found through conducting a focus group and a survey that social media is the best way to reach the public.
So next we'll be talking about the findings for the knowledge results. And so what we've gathered from the survey, we did it through a survey, focus group, and in-depth interviews. We have a knowledge section. And so what we gathered from the survey was that only 36 participants have heard of the depot, and out of like the 700 that took the survey. And then 21% of the participants know about the programs the depot provides. So overall, about 74% of the survey takers didn't know that the depot was associated with the Norman Arts Council. And so overall, most of the participants didn't know, knew nothing about the depot or very, very little about the depot. And from our focus group, we figured out that college-age students usually don't really have knowledge of the depot, but they're very much for it and very intrigued by the idea of what the depot provides, especially during the summer. And so also with the in-depth interview, I learned that for the knowledge of the depot, mostly the internal publics know what the depot offers because they're pretty much volunteers or they're on the board or they work for the depot, and so they are the internal public. So external publics don't really know much about the depot.
To find the perception of the depot, we asked the survey participants to compare attributes using a scale. As you can see in the graph, a majority of the responses we got were 4, which was the middle of the scale. This shows us that the majority of the participants does not know much about the depot, so they do not know how to perceive them. This was the same for the attitude section and questions in the survey. The results showed that around 50% of the answers were neither disagree or agree. To help improve the depot's perception and attitude, we suggested they use more social media, which we'll get to in the next section. We looked at the media usage to see what platforms the depot's publics are using the most. These graphs here are taken from the survey our agency put out a few weeks ago. As you can see, the younger group of the publics are mostly using Instagram and Twitter. There were 352 responses received that came from this younger demographic from 18 to 24. Out of those 352, around 48% said that they almost always use Instagram and 30% often use Facebook. For events the depot puts on for the younger publics, the survey shows that they should use either Instagram or Twitter to reach these audiences. For the older demographic, we had 112 answers that came through. Roughly 35% of them said that they almost always are using Facebook, and around 55% said that they never use Twitter. These graphs show the depot that if they were to plan an event that targeted the older publics, they should use Facebook or possibly even Instagram as their platforms.
Okay, so now I will be talking about some findings over communication and message results. Our group has some secondary research, SWOT analysis over here, and some strengths that we saw the depot has is that they do have a really good location and they do have an action public. However, some weaknesses are that they don't have a lot of younger audiences or college students involved or aware of what the depot is. With that, though, we saw a lot of opportunities in our research, such as new students come in every year. Therefore, they could be gaining all of these publics if they reach out on campus more. However, there are also threats to the depot also, such as Sunday Night Church or TV and the Norman Music Festival. These are all things that could help or not help the depot's awareness grow. And then we also did some primary research. We did interviews, focus groups, surveys, and a content analysis, which I'll talk about in the next slide. But in our groups and interviews, we found that a lot of people in college our age do not know many things about the depot other than it's an event venue and that they thought it used to be a train station. Most of our focus group didn't even know that a train still came through. So we saw a lot of opportunities in that to grow, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in our suggestions. The next slide I have is about the content analysis. The researchers went through all of the social media in the last year from Facebook and Instagram, and we found that many of the depot's posts were about the Winter Wind Walk, and hardly any of their posts included humor or filters or gifs or boomerangs, and these are all things that the younger generation tends to look for and like, according to our research, and so we think that's also an opportunity that the depot can grow in by just posting things like that. And also we found that there were about 3 posts that were a call to action. Let's see, I think 99% of the depot's posts did not include that, so we think that is also an opportunity to grow, and just highlighting your donors and your volunteers can really give a positive image to the depot and what they stand for. So finally, we are moving on to some of our suggestions. I'm just going to talk about some strategies and tactics, and then Natalie will talk about the key publics. So we suggest that the depot uses visual communication strategies. These visuals help people retrieve, interpret, and remember information. Certainly things that the depot wants to get out, such as Summer Breeze, the listening room, Winter Wind concerts, and things like that. We think that reaching out to the Norman community and the OU campus will help the depot in this way. Also, we think the depot can use this strategy to engage younger demographics. So some tactics we recommend the depot uses fall under the organizational media tactics, like a social media calendar, just having someone in charge of their social media specifically, maybe somebody younger who knows how to engage the younger audience, and have a calendar set on Monday and Wednesday. They're going to focus on Instagrams and reaching out to the younger audiences, and then on Tuesday, Thursday, they will focus on the action audiences that they have right now and post on Facebook or Twitter or whichever they choose. And then another tactic we talked about using is the news media tactic, such as a news release to the OU Daily. One thing we thought was a good idea would be to send a news release to the OU Daily right before school ends about the Summer Breeze concerts coming up. So the people staying here over the summer will have something to do most of the time. I have friends that have been bored all summer because they don't know really what's going on, and I think the Depot can take advantage of this by letting the younger demographic know that they have a Summer Breeze concert every Sunday. So we think each tactic will advance the organization towards the awareness of the Depot.
Okay, so overall, our suggestions from our research that we gathered is that the Key Public 18 to 35-year-olds, they like mostly hearing about things through social media, like highlights and Snapchat stories, or Instagram stories or Facebook stories. And they also like word of mouth. And so when they hear word of mouth that something is fun, they're more likely to attend the event. And then our other key public is 45 to 65-year-olds. And what we've learned is that the Depot right now does a great job with engaging with the older generation through Facebook. It's just the posts are a little inconsistent and not very diverse. But also two other good ways to communicate with the older generation is through mail and email.